Okay, so this is question 32 of the final review. So this is from chapters 8 and 9. I believe it might be 10 and 11 actually. But what we're going to do is we're looking at, it gives us the sample mean and the sample standard deviation. And so when it gives us both of those, we're going to be in stats and t-stats. So, and it says about the mean. Anytime it says about the mean, that's going to be t-stats. T-stats is about the mean. So we're going to go to stats, t-stats, and it's just one sample. And then with summary, so we have the sample mean of, it says 111. Let me make this smaller. Standard deviation is 10, and the sample size for this first one is 25. And we want a 98% confidence interval. So we'll select confidence interval and change it to 98. And so our lower limit and upper limits are lower and upper bounds. And now we're going to do the same thing, except for now our n is 15. So I just like to go to options, edit, and just change this to 15. And it's still a 98% confidence interval. So now we're going to compare the two. So we have 106 to 116, so that's 10. And then 104 to 117, that's a little bit bigger. It's like 11, 12-ish, or 12, 13-ish, I mean. And so how does it affect? So we changed, all we changed was the n, and it became smaller. So when it became smaller, this got a little bit bigger, our lower and upper bounds, our margin of error, I guess. So as the sample size decreases, the margin of error increases. So now we're going to do, this is the same thing as the first one that we solved, except for now we're looking at a 90% confidence interval. So edit, we're going to change this back to 25 and change this to 90. And so now it's going to ask us, how did decreasing the level of confidence affect the size of the margin of error? So right here we have 107 to 114. That's about a 7 point range. And up here we had a 10-point range. So when we decreased the level of confidence, the size of the interval decreases. Could we have computed the parts if the population had not been normally distributed? So the population has to be normally distributed, or it has to have a sample size of greater than 30. And all of these sample sizes were less than 30, and so no, the population needs to be normally distributed. All right, there we go.